Hi, my name's Kayleigh, and today I want to talk with you about something you might not have put a lot of thought into. I'm hearing, but I'm going to do my best to sign this video in American Sign Language, provide closed captions, and to do a voiceover to make it accessible to everyone. America as a whole has made a lot of progress in ending the stigma associated with mental health. We tell others anxiety is common, and depression is nothing to be ashamed of, and to not be afraid to ask for help. But what if the individual's deaf? What then? We still tell them to go see a therapist, or to see a psychiatrist for medication, or to talk with a family member or a friend. In a perfect world, that would work. They would have access to these services. But the world isn't perfect, and deaf mental health services aren't equal to hearing services in any way. So, let's talk about it. Imagine walking into a therapist's office for the first time. You're scared, nervous, anxious. It was hard for you to convince yourself to go at all. Now imagine walking into the same office knowing the counselor you're meeting with doesn't know your language. The receptionist doesn't know your language. Even scarier, right? One of the biggest problems we have is a lack of knowledge of how to interact with a deaf client by anyone in the field of psychology. The truth is that there are going to be very few people who are going to be fluent in American Sign Language, a certified interpreter, and be a licensed therapist. And that's where interpreters come in. But who pays them? The deaf individual or the place that they go? The Americans with Disabilities Act says that the counselor and their employees are responsible for providing an interpreter. Even with that law in place since 1990, that's not common knowledge. Even when an individual's insurance covers the cost, many professionals still aren't aware that it's their job, not the client's. And why should it be the client's? We provide food stamps, scholarships, and free clinics to people that need those accommodations. Yet we assume that the deaf can accommodate themselves. I talked with a therapist about this topic, and she told me that she fully believes deaf mental health is just as important as the hearing clients that she sees. She told me how she was not taught in a single one of her college classes how to interact with a deaf client. She told me how much she'd love to help deaf clients, but admitted that if someone came to her, she wouldn't have the knowledge to refer them, or how to get an interpreter. That's not her fault. That's the way the education system has been teaching our counselors. The amount of interpreters, not even counselors who know sign language, doesn't meet the demand. They're rare and not spread equally throughout the country. How far can we expect the individual to travel just to have equal therapy? They have jobs, families, responsibilities. Are they supposed to drive 5 hours one way each week to go to therapy? Do we consider that equal? Do we think that's okay? So many deaf people give up on getting help. They get frustrated with the unequal treatment and they stop going. Many find that trying to get the help they need becomes too hard, that it isn't even beneficial anymore. 20% of the deaf mentally ill in America commit suicide every year. 60% admit to having suicidal thoughts. We can't continue allowing this to happen because of lack of services. We fight for equal treatment for everyone, no matter their gender, race, class. It's time we fight for equal treatment for the deaf community. So how do we change this? If you're a counselor, take 5 minutes out of your day to find an interpreter or a service nearby, so when a deaf client comes to you, you know what to do. If you're an interpreter, take 5 minutes before a session to speak with the therapist. Give them some information on deaf culture. Remind them to speak to the client directly and not to you. If you're a student, ask questions in class about this. Start a discussion. Get others around you to think about it. Anyone can start a conversation and raise awareness. Nothing is too small. And if you're a deaf individual struggling with mental health, I support you. Ask for help. Fight for equal treatment. Don't accept anything less. I challenge everyone watching this to start a conversation with one person. Just one person. Something that small can start a chain reaction. Tweet about it. Talk about it on any social media. Be an ally. fight for this minority group the same way we fight for others. Deciding to ask for help is a hard decision to make. Worrying if it's even an option for you shouldn't be a problem for anyone.